The following podcast contains some strong language and some very average opinions. It's probably best if you don't listen at all.
The Roaring Peacock Podcast.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Roaring Peacock main cast. My name is Adonis. You know me from the Adelites. With me is Ross from the Man on the Post pod.
Hello, mate.
And Alex at Riot Badger, the man behind the small faces.
Good evening.
Alex.
I like how you've not rehearsed that at all. It just comes a total from the ether. Man, small face, badger.
The small badger face man.
So, starting off with the news this week. The documentary dropped last week. Hopefully that has given my fellow peacocks a chance to watch it. Ross McCormack joined Aldershot, who changed their Twitter profile to the club Ross McCormack plays for.
Beautiful.
Leeds destroyed fellow promotees Fulham before kindly allowing them back into the game, proving that there is no end to the kindness of Marcelo Bielsa, who, as if to emphasise the point one more time, cracked a small dick joke on the post-match press conference. On a serious note, after a courageous battle, little Leeds United fan Ellis died of a brain tumour, and our thoughts are with his family. Jordan Stevens was sent out on loan to Swindon Town, and we're not sure what he did wrong to deserve that. The government have added to the confusion of social distancing laws, but clarified that fans will not be back in stadiums from October.
Boo.
Boo. Boo. And finally, Victor Orta's European pillage hit a snag when a trumped-up energy drinks company snatched Gvardiol from under our noses. He wasted no time, though, reportedly making moves for Diego Llorente, who had been previously linked with West Ham, Spurs, and Liverpool. What a week, guys.
Yeah,
What a week.
Never slows down, does it? We do about 4,500 pods, but there's still more to talk about. It's great.
After watching that documentary, I could not love Victor Orta anymore right now. The passion that man has for Leeds United is unmatched, I think, for like an executive of a club. It's ridiculous. And he just never stops working, apparently.
Yeah, I watched it and I thought, them reactions, they're just for the camera. And I thought, it's really not.
No.
I remember he ripped a monitor off the wall, didn't he? Like a few seasons ago. So
He's a lunatic, but
when he
lunatic.
cries,
Yeah.
when he ends up in tears when we score, just when we score a goal. So he's not cried like I think most of us cried, when we lost the derby in the playoffs or whatever. You know what I mean? Like but we just score a normal goal in a normal game, and he's there in tears.
the slow-mo of him where he's screaming something, it's like, ah!
Yeah.
So, yeah, crazy. I do worry a little bit for his health because that much up and down is not good for the heart, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's been a busy boy. Diego Llorente looks like a good player. And my friend who, she is a La Liga expert. Well, she's a Barcelona fan. But she says that Llorente is great on the ball, got good passing, not bad in the air, tackling and from set pieces is really good. He's a bit dodgy in one-on-ones, but could play defensive midfielder if we're desperate. He's a very Bielsa defender and not bad deal for 20 million euros.
But
I like how we're not quoting experts anymore on this podcast.
Just my friend.
Who scored?
I've stopped trusting experts.
No, this guy
Up
watches
to
League Liga.
stats. Pcha! Get away with you.
My friend watches him week in, every time that they're playing, and yeah, says it's a good deal. Maybe it enables us to play that 3-3-1-3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually. And the Dan James stuff as well. There's that. Apparently, we'd agreed a deal yesterday, according to one account that had many followers.
Right.
That means fuck all, because apparently Man United have said he's not for sale. Whether that's part of the merry-go-round, I don't know, but I would like to see him back at Leeds. Yeah, like he played a game for us. He just sort of signed and then didn't. But I think he'd be good at Leeds.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to take a bit of umbrage with this idea that because we've signed another centre-back, that will allow us to play 3-3-1-3. Ross, did you read the WhatsApp chat today? Or
Well, I tried
guess
to.
you didn't.
Yeah. By the time I look into it, it's about 190 messages, and I kind of skim through a lot of it.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you not see me explode like a volcano with Bielsa tactics and formations today when someone suggested that very same thing?
Oh yeah, I just found it now. Yeah, give me a while. You two talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back.
And it's down to a 2-person podcast for the next 45 minutes.
Ross has been eliminated. No, so, I mean, basically, as I understand it, and I am by no means an expert, but the thing is, we're never going to get Bielsa on this podcast, unfortunately, to explain it all to us.
Well,
so
aim high, come on, you never know.
I'm the best you've got.
We'll probably get Dave Hockaday if we tried hard enough, or just asked him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should get Hockaday on the podcast.
Even Junior just dribbling in
Can
the
we
corner.
do that?
Yeah, we can ask him.
He'd come on.
Can't be busy.
So I'm a
So we
host.
play-
I'm a host now. Do it every week. Yeah, cool, yeah.
So we play a hybrid of 3-3-1-3 and 4-1-4-1. I think we kind of move more towards a 3-3-1-3 in possession and a 4-1-4-1 out of possession when defending.
Right.
And I don't see those. I don't see Bielsa changing the personnel in those positions. That each position is very specific and requires people to really know that role for it to work. And that's why you see, for example, Rodrigo was being yelled at the whole time when he tried to play number 10 because he's not in the right place where Bielsa wants him to be.
Rodrigo!
So, for example, if we were to play the 3 centre-backs, so Cooper, Koch, and Llorente, in the back line as part of the 3-3-1-3, then that would mean that KP would be playing in the click position, or KP wouldn't be involved. So I can't really see that happening.
No,
for me, I think KP stays in the team unless something drastic happens. But
yeah, I can't see any signing that we'd make that would take KP out of the team.
No.
Nah, even though he would have bit off the boil, I think he's kind of first on the team sheet, isn't he, really?
Yeah, sorry, West Ham fans. Even if we signed Declan Rice, he wouldn't be getting in our team.
No. £80 million Declan Rice. Very much a Chelsea signing, that is.
Yeah, Declan Rice can go on loan to Fleetwood or something. It'd be fun.
Earn his trade.
So we've kind of started talking about the transfers. So should we just keep on going with that? So I wrote a little bit about Diego Llorente. So a brief summary. West Ham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Leicester and Monaco. Monaco as recently as January offered 20 million euros. So they were all in for him. It was rumoured at one point or another. His release clause is 50 million euros.
Well, let's be really careful about that because that is similar to what Hadi Sakho's release clause was. So that tells us absolutely nothing.
He was quick though, Hadi
Sakho. Couldn't square it through his life.
No.
Fan favourite.
Yeah, I liked Hadi. He was fun.
Yeah. So Llorente has just been outside of the pecking order for the Spanish squads. So yeah, I mean he's kind of been behind PK and Ramos, and now obviously PK is retired, and so at the moment it's Torres and Ramos, but he's on the bench with Garcia.
Yeah.
From Man City.
Yeah.
Do you like how I tried to do the Spanish accent there?
Yeah, I'm doing that. It's better than the Scouse one that I did a few days back.
Garcia.
Garcia. No, I see it. Need my lemon pledge, Garcia.
So he's competing with Martinez and Hermoso for the first choice substitute in that centre-back position. And obviously Ramos is going to retire soon.
Yeah.
So we could find ourselves, if we get him, with the starting Spanish centre-back.
Yeah.
How long have I started in Spanish striker? We just need a midfielder to complete the set now.
It's like Monopoly. If you get all three, you can smart the land on them. It's great.
Yeah. We're doing a Wolves, but with the Spanish.
Yeah, I could be better than Portugal, so I'm all on board for this.
So Guillem Balug, or Guillem Baug, or how do you say his name?
Guillem Balagay.
Guillem Balagay. Yeah. You tried a bit too hard with that accent. Guillem Balug. It's just how it's spelled. Balogi.
Guillem Balogi.
This caviar's fantastic.
Oh, Guillem, this caviar.
Your Balogi caviar is fantastic.
What was that? The Ferrero Rocher. Oh, ambassador, you're spoiling us.
Ambassador, with these transfer rumors, you're really spoiling us.
Oh, Guillem.
Oh, Guillem, you're not supposed to touch me like that. Right, in the weeds. We are in the weeds, right? So, Guillem Balogi, what has he said?
Yes, he said, so he's right-footed but strong with his left foot. So he's quick. He should be stronger he needs to be stronger in his 50-50s, but he's got good ball distribution. And last season he was playing on the left, which has sort of put his stats down a bit. Obviously, he's a right-footed player. So, so generally he is on the right and he would be competing with Koch for that starting position on the right, I would have thought. But he's also comfortable playing on the left, but not as good.
So, fair enough. It sounds all right. I mean, I know absolutely nothing about him, but he sounds impressive for what you guys have said. So I'm a goer. I'm a big fan. He also sounds like an ice cream flavour. So that's my amount of knowledge. I'll have the chocolate and the Diego Llorente, please. Thank you.
With a sprinkling of caramel and hundreds and thousands.
Just hold the Gvardiol, please.
None of that Gvardiol. Had it once with Red Bull. It's terrible. Yeah. Okay, so that was Diego Llorente, and I guess we don't know any more about him.
No, not really. We'll find out.
Ross, do you have any more friends who are clued in with the La Liga?
I can have a shout around. Yeah,
do you have any more friends?
Just stop there. Don't need the La Liga part. It's just you guys and my imaginary Spanish friend.
Put your Spanish feelers out there. So what we're still looking for has been a centre-back. So that's probably going to be Llorente by the sounds of it. An 8 or a 10, which sounds like it's coming down to De Paul or Malinovsky.
I want De Paul.
Malinovsky.
De Paul's got a tattoo of a dog. There is no other player that we need. He's got a tattoo of a dog on his leg. That's
just
enough.
To wind Huddersfield fans up even more. Really.
Yeah.
And Dan James.
Yeah. I'm getting a bit bored with this De Paul one now. Just get it done or just move on.
Yeah,
I feel like he's wasting our time.
I think there's an argument, though, that somebody mentioned on Twitter I saw earlier, that we might be tempering as ambitions transfer-wise after the lockdown stuff with COVID, because now it's obvious that we're not going to be in the stadiums until, well, not even this season, it seems.
Mm.
Are they going to temper the amount of money that they're going to make available for transfers because they're not going to have the match day income? So maybe that is not helping the transfer.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Well, we're playing hardball with Udinese, aren't we? Because we know everybody needs money.
Yeah.
We've got some, we know they've got De Paul, but we've got money. And we know that they need money because they're as fucked with COVID as much as anybody. And probably worse.
And their transfer market's a little bit depressed, isn't it? I think. So, yeah. So we have got them slightly over a barrel. Whether we want to pull the trigger, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's stopping it, really.
Well, we're trying to meet. I think we're trying to get them to meet in the middle or come down to our valuation, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think that's the case of it.
I think it's one of them things where we've spent that much time on it now that if it doesn't happen, it's just going to be talked about forever, like of the failing of Radrizzani and Orta. It's like, we didn't get De Paul. Like first time we lose a game or Pablo's out for a few, it's going to be, we could have bought De Paul, but he didn't, and that's why we're going to be 18th, 19th.
Yeah.
So predictable.
It's this generation Scarabi.
Yeah, it is. Just with no chain smoking or mobsters.
Yeah,
knees, hopefully.
I mean, the players that we've been linked with, I've got a list of them here.
Yeah.
Sergio Romero, Manu Kone, Hayden Roberts, Dan James, Diego Llorente, De Paul, Callum Chambers, Eric Pulgar, João Mario.
Yeah, Pulgar and the Mario ones are the most recent ones, and they're both kind of holding midfielders, which, I mean, we said earlier that whoever we sign is not going to take KP's place, so why are we interested in another holding midfielder? Unless Forshaw's never returning.
Well, Llorente can play there anyway.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And Hayden Roberts, I think we're just taking the piss with Brighton now. We're like, do Brighton have any more centre backs that we can fuck them around with?
What's the contract status of the rest of your centre backs, please? Okay, that one. We'll try with that one now.
Look what we did
Can we
with
have
this
that one?
I want that one.
Want that one? Yes, but just briefly touching on Malinovsky, because Phil did say that is genuine. So he would be around 20 million euros, which is 10 million cheaper than De Paul. Played 40 times for Atalanta last season, so they bought him the previous summer, and he helped them qualify for the Champions League again. I've written down here he could be bait to make Udinese accept a lower bid. He scored his first goal for Atalanta versus Man City in the Champions League. He's got a powerful shot with either foot, but he's never been prolific. But now I've looked at the stats and I made a comparison. You can either see them on our social media platform, on our Twitter profile, or if you're watching on YouTube, I've put it up there. And yeah, just bear in mind that Atalanta scored 98 goals, which was the most in Serie A. And Udinese scored 37. And really, if it wasn't for De Paul, they would have been probably relegated. I mean, he has kept them up in the same way that Pablo kind of dragged us to the Premier League almost single-handedly at the end of last season and the last two.
Well, if it can come here and keep us up, I'm quite happy with that.
So just a little bit more on transfers then. We've made 5 senior ones: Helder Costa, Meslier, Harrison, Rodrigo, Koch, and 6 under-23s that we don't need to talk about.
Doing a Fulham.
And that's it. I've seen it around like, oh, they've made 10 transfers, but we haven't really.
No. Joe Gelhardt doesn't count. Charlie Adams, 16 years old. Cody Drammer. These guys are going to be a long way from the first team.
And briefly, just on what Phil Hay said, or Phil said about the transfers, in something that I'd like to call Filet Uncut, which is really not really a segment name. It's just a bad joke. So Dan James dependent on Scum bringing someone in. Filet said, and I quote, "I just don't see De Paul happening, not unless something changes significantly."
So is that why he's been getting dogs abuse then? Because I saw people like, leave Phil alone, he's all right. Is it because he's just delivered the news and people don't like it? Is that why he's getting abused?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love our fan base.
We need something to moan at. Phil, you're the target, I'm afraid. Sorry.
It could be a combination of that. And he said the other day, don't just believe me, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Passing the buck, Phil. Come on. You are the only one. You have been for 16 years.
But I think that just alludes to a bigger story, which is we're in a big sea now.
Yeah.
Phil Hay was a shark in a little pond. Yeah. And he was, the oracle when we were in the championship, and the only one who was connected enough to be able to give us something that wasn't clickbait. And now we're in this massive, ocean, and there's enormous killer whales, like Fabrizio Romano or whatever, and people who are much more connected than Phil Hay.
Yeah, it's not like he can just ring up the counterpart at the local newspaper of Chesterfield and find out about which player we're interested in now. It's slightly different level.
Yeah. Yes, and the Udinese sporting director, final thing on transfers, he was quoted by Fabrizio Romano, that big whale, as saying they've not matched the 35 million euro price tag, so I hope he can stay. And I bet they do, because he kept them up.
Yeah. That's come down, hasn't it? Because I'm sure they wanted 45 at one point, and then 40, and then they want 35. So
that's what they'd on there. It'd be 24 million.
If I was buying a guitar, this is where I say, "Good luck with the sale, guys." I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll good luck with it and walk away, and then they'd email me about 2 weeks later and say, "Still after that." So hopefully we'll do the same.
Okay, and now maybe we can talk about the government.
Yes, come on. Let's go,
Complete
boys.
right turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, shall I start? Shall I go off? Shall I go off?
Should we get our masks on? Do we need to wear masks to podcast? I'm not sure.
I've got a mask, actually. Yeah, I've got my terrace mask. Shall I wear that? That's good.
I now have to wear one for 9 hours a day whilst I'm working.
Whoa. No, I couldn't do that.
Look forward to that.
The thing is with this, right? Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to go. Right,
We're
so
going.
they've told us to do what they want us to do. So stay at home, lockdown. We did that. On the whole, and I fully appreciate that other people didn't follow it and they flouted the rules, but that is a minority of people. I think that on the whole, we adhere to what they asked us to do. Then they told us that we needed to go back to the office, which on the whole, a lot of people do. And then they told us that people who are working from home needed to return to the office because I've got shares in Pret a Manger and you're not spending money on sandwiches. So people have gone back to the office. Then they said, all right, we'll give you a tenner off a cheap Nando's. So why don't you go out and help out the economy and stuff like that? So people did. And then they said it's patriotic to go to the pub and help the economy. So people have gone to the pub. And now there's been an upturn in cases and they've gone, it's your fault because you didn't listen to what we said.
Yeah.
And now they've lost the trust of the whole of the public because nobody's going to listen to this now. Nobody's going to take any notice of what they're asking them to do. And the fact that they've got football fans away from the stadium just to bring it back into what the podcast is supposed to be about, that's just going to wind us up completely now. I am watching the game as a season ticket holder as much as a Man United season ticket holder would with their remote. So I'm not happy. I didn't vote for these. And if you did, it's your fault. Ran over. It's a bad day, can you tell? Sorry, listeners.
Ross, you want to talk about the government? You want to trash talk the Tories for a couple of minutes?
I also didn't vote for them, but yeah, it's ridiculous. We followed the people that have stuck to the guidelines that they put in place are now seemingly being punished because other people couldn't follow them. And yeah, they wanted people to go back to work and go out for meals and stuff. Obviously, there's going to be an upturn in cases because that's just what was going to happen. It was obvious, but they had to get the economy going again. So it's just a horrible situation. We're all fucked basically. But yeah, I want to go back to football. Like I'm not a season ticket holder, and Elland Road's 300 miles away from my house. But if there was a chance I could have made a game this season, I would have moved hell and high water to try and get there. And now I can't.
I think somebody tweeted, which I can't remember who did, but if you have a look, I retweeted it. So if you have a look on mine, all right, Roger, everybody, self-promotion. Somebody said it's not okay for 7 children to feed the ducks, but it's okay for 30 adults to shoot them.
Yeah,
that is the contradiction in what they're telling us to do. So,
yeah.
Right, this is the grouse hunting you're referring to.
What Pat Panther's up to, probably.
That's kind of what I wanted to get into. So pubs, the new measures are pubs close at 10 p.m. So somebody mentioned in the chat, well, that means that punters are going to be kicked out in the 86th minute of a football match.
Yep. Brilliant.
Good luck.
Gatherings are limited. Yeah, good luck with that. Gatherings are limited to 6, unless you're grouse hunting.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Which I think, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the most Tory exception to a rule
Absolutely.
I've ever heard.
Self-serving. And if you think that the self-serving nature doesn't follow in every single policy, you're wrong, because they've given money to their cronies. All the contracts for masks and stuff have gone to companies that would never do it, but they've got connections to the Tory government and they've got donors and stuff like that. It's all corrupt. All I'm going to do is, I ain't got a pet, so I'm going to buy a pet grouse. I'm going to buy a gun. I'm just never going to catch it. So I can go to anybody's house. It's now a grouse hunt.
My idea was that we'll just kind of get our flat caps on and our hunting jackets, couple of grouse on the Elland Road pitch at half time.
Just dress Alioski as a grouse.
Yeah.
And the behaviour is exactly the same. So, sorry.
It's a grouse hunt, guys. and nobody's catching fucking Alioski.
No, that's all.
1 minute he's on the roof. Next minute he's around the corner pitch. Next minute he's playing with the goal. Next minute he's shaking the tunnel.
Yeah. What do you do if you do catch him? You'd be terrified.
Oh,
What do I
you'd
do
let
now?
go of that one.
Yeah, definitely. throw that one back so I can grow a bit more.
You'd hold on to him for a second. He'd be like, right in your face.
Trying to bite your stomach. Was that what we did to Pablo in the pool last year? Something like that?
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
he wiped his nose on his shirt.
He'd be giving you a nibble. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, now Mephisto and Kevin.
I've thought about this skit far too much because you just think about like Dr. Mephisto, like showing all of his creations. One of them is Patrick Bamford.
Now, can we give some context to this? Can we give a bit of backstory? Can you, Alex? Can you explain to anybody out there who doesn't know who Mephisto and Kevin is? Can you explain why he is on the cover of this podcast episode?
Sorry, I'll apologise in advance. It's been a long time since I've seen this episode. But Dr. Mephisto in South Park was the guy that made animals hybrids with things with four asses. So there's a monkey with four asses, or there was something else with four asses, and he had his son dressed exactly the same as him, called Kevin. And Kevin Mephisto looks exactly like our new Colombian translator. I'm sorry. And if we ever get him on as a guest, I will apologise to him. But it looks just like him. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me.
Yeah, I was just on a Google search because I've never watched South Park, and yeah, that is that's actually terrifying.
So we don't know his name, and as far as I know, nobody does.
So his name is now Kevin Mephisto.
Yeah, because I was calling him the small Colombian Cockney, and feeling kind of guilty about it. And then you came up with Kevin Mephisto. And now I don't have to feel guilty about it at all. And it's a great name.
Because mine's way worse. Kev Meth.
Now, I have a gripe. I have a bit of a gripe with this small Colombian Cockney, Kevin Mephisto.
Right. So,
and it's a similar gripe that I've had with previous translators in that they don't translate Bielsa very well. There is a guy called Joani Jimena who is on
fantastic.
YouTube and Twitter, and he translates Bielsa, old Bielsa interviews and lectures as well. And he did the translation for the question that I took umbrage with on the post-match review.
Right.
So that question was, if you didn't listen to our podcast, what are you doing? Yeah. Listen to the podcast.
Getting on with your life.
They're terrible.
How terrible of you.
You dicks, what else are you doing?
Come on. God. So the question was, at 4-1 down, were you, Bielsa, tempted to just put 10 men behind the ball? And Joani has translated the answer, Bielsa's answer. So this is what Bielsa said. He said, "What this game shows is that the result is not assured by giving the ball to the opposition and defending close to your own goal. The result is assured by trying, or the lead is maintained, by trying to continue doing what allowed us to establish that lead, which is to play in the opponent's half of the pitch and to attack." And our mate Kevin,
his answer was
translated that
no.
As what the match showed was that we have to continue to do the things that made us successful in the first place, and that's the best way to conserve the result rather than putting players behind the ball. Which isn't what I said at all.
No, it's completely different, and it's basically what Alex said. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to carry on doing what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. No.
It sounds like he's dumbing down like the Sun would for its readers. So he's got to be really careful with that. It must be difficult. I don't speak a second language into any sort of level that I'll be able to translate into English on the fly, under pressure, in front of the world's media. And it is the world's media now. So I can sympathise with that, but surely a little bit closer to the reality would be good. What's your answer?
I like it when Bielsa tells them off.
Yeah.
But he can't speak English, so how does he know what they're saying?
No, he can't speak a word of English, surely not.
I'm not a translator either, but I don't pretend to be. And That's the point, isn't it?
Not stealing a living.
If I say I can make a cup of tea and I come back with a fucking hot cocoa, you're going to look at me a bit weird, aren't you? And that's the way I'm looking at Kevin right now.
Do you reckon Kevin Mephisto has just basically gone on a whim? He's like, had a few cans one night and he's been watching these go, I fucking do that. I fucking do that easy. And he's written in, and then he's got a reply back going, yeah, you can start next Monday. Oh, yeah, sure. Shit. Get that Duolingo installed. She's just learned Spanish over a weekend.
Yeah. It's nothing against Kev in particular. I quite like Kev. I actually really like him.
I quite like him.
I've got a kind of soft spot. I've taken to him almost immediately. Yeah. But he's the fucking third translator we've been through now.
I felt bad for Diego Reyes last year. He's got other stuff to worry about. He doesn't need to be doing that for Bielsa as well.
God, no. He looked terrified every minute.
Yeah, he's like rabbit in the headlights. He said something like, we played well. Oh God, I've got that wrong. He's going to whip me again.
Fucking sweating.
Yeah. But the thing
Please don't put me in that room again, Mr. Bielsa.
This podcast does not endorse slavery or keeping Diego Flores in a room. If you've been affected by these things raised in this podcast, please ring me and tell me all about it.
Yeah, in case you didn't get that, we are joking most of the time.
No, people seriously think that Marcelo Bielsa keeps his ex-translators in a room.
Imagine. Salim Lamrani's just beating them all up. Just bloody pulps on the floor.
Salim was good value, though. I think he tried to overshadow it a little bit. He tried to take the stage, didn't he?
He's a bit too highbrow.
Yeah, I liked that, though. He gave a bit of je ne sais quoi. He took a bit of creative liberty with it.
I liked getting the insights into the players' nicknames and stuff, or what he called them. That was quite cool.
He's had a touch of performance about him. He was like, maybe he'd been to drama school or whatever, and he'd done a semester at art school or drama school, and he thought, well, this is my opportunity.
Yeah.
Documentary. Oh, we started off with a documentary. Fuck.
Well,
We've both watched it now, though.
Didn't talk it in length, so I've watched episode 2. I've watched episode 2 probably 4 times now. Episode 1 didn't grab me. Episode 2 massively is like the emotions in that are crazy, and I don't mind admitting that I was teary-eyed at some of that stuff. Calvin Carajo. I mean, that is enough, isn't it?
Oh God!
Could you imagine, like, Bielsa, if he just complimented me, if he thought my shoes were good, I think that'd be meant for life. But for Bielsa to grab Calvin and say, Calvin Carajo, the best, like, his career's made. His career is made. So,
he may have played for England after that, but that's not as important.
Yeah,
it really isn't.
1,500 words from Gareth Southgate are going to match that, really, are they?
No. If Bielsa caught my eye, my breath would be taken. My heart would stop. I'd be having palpitations for days.
I like that. I wouldn't, like everybody who's got selfies with him, like walking in Weatherby and in costume and stuff like that, I wouldn't be able to do that. Maybe
terrified.
That's about me, and I don't like disturbing people. Marta, our Argentinian new fan, she's a fan of Bielsa, but now she's a fan of Leeds. She said that she's seen him quite a few times out and about, but wouldn't want to disturb him. Yeah. I'd be exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, could you imagine if it was me that interrupted him from going through like the stats and we ended up conceding because he'd missed a set piece?
Because he'd missed something, yeah.
God, I'd never forgive myself. Kevin,
we saw Lucas Radaby in Sainsbury's once, and I couldn't go up to him. No, absolutely no way.
I've never met him. Jeff Capes is the most famous person I've ever met. One for the kids there.
Shit.
Who?
I don't think you could even Google him. I think he's pre-Google with Jeff Capes. I was working backstage at Leeds Fest, and I was a massive fan of AFI at the time. And I had an AFI t-shirt on, and the AFI were playing that day, and I was working backstage in the Concrete Jungle, and the whole of the band walked past me, and I blanked every single one of them and thought, I daren't say anything to them. And then I walked past and go, I've got away with it. And then I looked down and was like, oh, shit. I just emblazoned in their merch and just blanked every single one of them. Like a noob. That'd be the same with Leeds players and stuff like that. The only Leeds player in the current squad that I've met and talked to in any length is Berardi, because he did some signing for me for prostate cancer when I was raising for them. But I don't think I could speak to them. It's just, what would I have to say to any of them guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from,
I mean,
your translator looks like Kevin Mephisto.
I'd speak to him on this pod. Like I'd speak to people on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's kind of our thing, and it's a comfortable place, and I can kind of prepare, and it's a setting, it's you know, but it's not, you're not taking up time in their private life.
Yeah,
they've agreed to come and speak with you.
But then you've got the other end of the scale that people have got no shame whatsoever. It's like, I saw Patrick Bamford in a public toilet, selfie. I can't understand that. I'll never get that.
No.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I mean, we talked on the last pod about maybe we could get in on the press conferences or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, no way. I was watching that press conference, and by the 5th or 6th question, Bielsa's head was on the fucking desk.
Yeah.
He did not want to be there.
But could you imagine you got in there and you asked a question that he had his eyes lit up and he went, bueno, and I'm giving you an answer. You're like, that's your life made? Like Calvin's career's made? That'd be my life made. If I asked the Bielsa a question that interested him, I think I'd be well pleased.
I'd be in a puddle on the floor. I'd be crying. I'd be pissing myself.
Can't come into work tomorrow, sorry. Why? I'll drown myself in my own fluids.
In myself.
Yeah, no, he looks like, you're about 45 minutes into a maths lesson or something.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fucking kill me now. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like. Every single press
more
conference.
questions coming.
He's like, no, I'm not going to put 10 men behind the ball.
No.
You fucking idiot.
It's like, I don't think he has this thought, but all them opinions and questions from journalists are so beneath his level of knowledge about football. It just doesn't compare, does it?
No.
And that's what annoyed me about Kevin's translation.
Yeah.
Is because they call him like his friends. Some of his friends call him like El Maestro or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they try to give him that nickname rather than El Loco. So El Loco is like the fool or the mad one. And El Maestro is the teacher. And I think a lot of people see him as El Maestro, as a teacher.
Yeah.
And you can see in that answer that I just gave, that Juani translated, that he is teaching you about football and about his tactics. And that's what kind of pissed me off about Kev. Is because he just brushed over all of that and just said what he needed to get out of the way. And I've done work as well. I've done shitty work just to try and get home and get out of the press conference as well. But come on, Kev, fucking hell.
Step up your game, Mephisto. We're coming for you.
Just back to that documentary, the second part, I didn't need to see Pablo at home with his kids and his wife, because she's not impressed by him at all. Like, don't shatter my image of what Pablo is just because he's just your husband. No, he is my god. He's the best player I've ever seen play for Leeds, I think.
Yeah, she's lovely as well. She's really nice. I've chatted to her really briefly, but yeah.
Just seeing him in tears with all the other players. Oh god, I can't handle this.
No, I couldn't watch watch them crying after the Derby game, and I could not watch them crying when we got champions either. That was too much.
Yeah,
I love these human so much. So much of my emotional life is devoted to them.
Yeah,
and yeah,
I think
it was very, very difficult, wasn't it?
What was really telling, and I think it's kind of bred into this team, hopefully. I mean, we're only 2 games in, but when Radrizzani's celebrating with Liam Cooper, and Radrizzani's saying, we did it, and Cooper goes, it doesn't end here.
Yeah, oh my God. Cooper gets it.
Yeah, his mindset is already on this season that we're in now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's exactly what we need to be looking at. It's not a day out for us. It's not a jolly in the Premiership. Best journey I've ever been on. We're here to stay now, hopefully.
Yeah, the job's not done. Not done yet.
No.
You wanted to talk about fucking some crazy shit, didn't you, Alex?
Oh, Selby. Fuck Selby Town.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah.
Okay, in non-Leeds related news, Alex.
So, So Selby Town, if you've not seen, have got a player called Reece Thompson who was on trial with them, and they decided to not go ahead with that trial and put him into a permanent transfer because he's a domestic abuser and has been to prison twice for such things as his ex-partner of making a lick paint off the floor, hitting her with an iron bar, and smashing 2 mirrors, not one. One might be acceptable. No, it wouldn't be. 2 mirrors has been smashed over. And they've decided now, they've done a massive U-turn and signed him as a permanent player. And my point with this is convenient morality.
Yep.
Is it convenient for them to sign this player because he's a good player? Would they give him the same chance if he was a shit player? I don't think they would. And I think it relates somehow, and let's bring it back to Leeds related, convenient morality in the Kiko situation. Have we decided to keep Kiko on despite the guilty verdict that he had because we set that morality aside because he's a good player? Debatable. And we've got a multi-million-pound contract involved. I don't like that double standard. And fuck Selby Town.
So playing devil's advocate here, don't get angry at me. I've told you I'm playing devil's advocate. Don't do it. Don't get angry. I think the argumentation would be that if you've done the crime and you've if you've done the time, you did the crime and then you did the time. If you paid the price, if you've done the consequences for your actions, and I think it is very difficult for ex-convicts, for example, to get work and so on. Is it a case in this situation where he's been to jail and he's been kind of rehabilitated and he's a different changed person and he's not going to do it again? Is that the case? Or
I would agree with you if the severity of what he did was probably low where it was. I think he could have rehabilitated, but he's actually been to prison twice for that. He came out and basically slagged his ex-partner on social media and ended up going back to jail for the same thing. So he's unrepentant for what he did. And I think, you make a good point as devil's advocate that there is you've got a right to redeem yourself, and you've got to be able to earn a crust. Does he need to be a role model as a football player? I mean, Selby Town isn't Manchester City, and they're not Leeds United, but do we want our kids growing up looking up to players that have done things like that and justify? Well, he did this. He smashed a mirror over his ex-partner's head and he's still playing football. So surely what I did wasn't as bad. I only punched you in the face. Yeah. Doesn't sit well with it.
It's the same as when Ched Evans went to prison and came back out and got a job almost straight away at a league. I think League One, Chesterfield gave him a job, and he went to Sheffield United and Fleetwood Town. It's like, fair enough, he's done the time for the crime he committed, but it just doesn't sit right with me at all.
Would they be this is my thing, would they be so forgiving and wanting to give him a chance if it was I'm not going to say Nigel Williams, so I don't want to bring him into this. if he was a shit footballer.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd be so forgiving. And it's if you are forgiving and you think that everybody deserves a second chance, cool, I get that. But it's got to be applied across the board, not the fact that he can bang in goals for Selby Town. Yeah. If he was a shit footballer, would they give him the same sort of redemption? I don't think they would.
So I feel like there would have to be a line drawn, so if you were going to say certain crimes, or if you're a repeat offender for certain crimes, then you would have to make it explicit, and you would probably have to make it a law for the whole of the Football League. Otherwise, it's, as we've seen with the taking the knee, if it's left up to clubs, some are going to do it and some aren't going to do it.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be a law, though, but I think if you read the room, which Selby seemed to do when they had him on trial and then declined to take him on, they've then gone back on that. And I think it's a massive PR disaster. I don't think he could score 60 goals a season, and I don't think that it would turn this PR around.
What I mean by that is morality is subjective, isn't it? So there are some crimes that are easily or more easily forgiven, than the ones that this guy committed.
Yeah, a shoplifter, maybe. I guess.
Tony Adams being stoned at the wheel of a car.
Yeah, Grealish.
It is a crime, but yeah.
I don't know. There's a sliding scale in that. I think I think if he'd have been, it'd been something that he was repentant about and he had rehabilitated and if he showed any sort of remorse, I think possibly. But the fact that he hasn't, I think that's got to be, you can't do that. He cannot do that.
No. Violence against women is one of the big crimes for me. That's a
just domestic
big no-no.
violence in general, thinking that anybody is, I mean, it's tantamount to torture. Forcing somebody to lick paint off the floor is torture. And holding anybody
glass into someone's back.
Yeah, I mean, holding somebody in that regard, it could be a man on a woman, woman on a man. And if you're doing that to somebody, what kind of human are you?
Yeah.
Psychopathic.
I won't trust you with a slug.
Okay, so are we going to do this? We're going to do this every week now.
Yeah,
this is going to be a theme.
Just give me a
We're going to have one fucking serious discussion in the middle. Just one massive shit sandwich every podcast.
I'm sorry.
Oh dear. No, I think it's good. We should be able to talk about anything.
In summary, fuck Selby Town. That's it.
Well, it's fine because we're playing Sheffield United next week, and they're owned by Saudi Arabians, so we can get into that next week.
Oh, Bin Laden money. Yeah, let's go on that. Let's go.
Bin Laden money. Boom.
No, probably boom. No, probably not boom.
No, definitely not boom.
Oh god.
Yeah. What we're thinking about that game? What do I reckon?
We're going to beat them. I'm really confident about this. I don't know why. They didn't look very good last night against Villa. They looked terrible against Wolves.
Egan's out as well, isn't he? Because he got
John Egan's now gone, for a straight red card. Arguable whether it was a red card.
It's a second yellow.
Oh, was it? I look like a straight red.
I'm hoping it's a second yellow because I can't dispute that. I can't get that rescinded.
Oh, even better.
Egan, red. Yeah. Straight red.
Was it straight red? Right, okay.
Gone.
Oh, really?
And deserved, I think.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is we're telling players not to dive all the time. He didn't.
No.
He didn't dive.
No.
He did get obstructed. He got pulled back, and it was stopping a potentially goal scoring opportunity. Absolutely. Because they're is it Ramsdale?
Yeah.
Is it Ramsdale? Yeah. It came out like Kiko on on methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Kevin
so
Mephisto.
There's a big opportunity to score a goal from that. So yeah.
Fair play to that ref for making that decision, I think. Because I think a lot of the times in the Championship, if that had happened, I don't think we'd have gotten a foul.
Yeah.
There's got to be a big play made of going down and screaming and stuff like that. So.
Their team looks largely the same as it was in the Championship. They just signed Sander Berge, who's a good central midfielder. They got Ollie McBurney in that weird Leeds hating thing of his.
Yeah, I thought he was a Leeds supporter.
That's what I always thought as well.
I thought so too. Yeah.
They've still got Billy Sharp. There's no goals in this team at all.
Did we reject
bad 5-0? I don't know. I'm on his Wikipedia page now. He came through the Leeds Youth Academy in 2010, and then we sent him off to Bradford. So yeah, fair enough. He's right.
Okay, that's why he hates us.
That's
we
right,
sent him to Bradford.
Sorry to our Bradford listeners.
Yeah.
Oh, he was released under 14s level. Okay.
But one thing that is good about playing Sheffield United is Chris Wilder is a perfect candidate for a small face. He's just got the right skin complexion. He's already slightly small face to the size of his head. He will be a joy for me to do just after this podcast is recorded and I'll post it on Twitter.
He's an angry little man. They haven't won a game this season. They lost the 2 in the league and they lost to Burnley on penalties in the League Cup as well.
So for our match previews, I try and get opposition podcaster onto it, right? Fulhamish replied straight away, yeah, we'd be happy to do that. Yeah. Apples and pears.
I'll just go and I'll be there with you.
Man City guy, I messaged the Blue Moon podcast and...
Oh, right, I'll be with you.
Can you do a Man City accent?
That'd be Man United, wouldn't it?
Manchester accent. Yeah, Man United. And he was like, yeah, pal, I'll be happy to be on your podcast.
Nice.
Sheffield United,
I've found 2. So there were about fucking 30 Man City podcasts.
Yeah,
more Man City podcasts than Leeds ones. There was a few Fulham ones, maybe 3 or something like that. And I obviously picked the one that won the award.
Yeah, of course.
Don't want to deal with these average guys.
You don't want to have two average podcasts together just to cancel each other out.
Makes it even worse.
Yeah. It'll make a break in the time-space continuum. And Sheffield United, they've got two podcasts. One is like on the official channel, which I find is weird. And the other one is called Blades Pod. And they've both ghosted me. Fucking ghosted.
I searched for ages for Sheffield United pods. Yeah, literally there's two. And one of them hasn't done a podcast since January. So I think there's just one now.
Yeah.
So do we just write to Sean Bean and ask him to come on for half an hour?
Sean Bean.
Should we get a Wednesday fan on? Because they're all the same, aren't they?
Yeah. It's just different colours, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same colour.
I'm not going to be on a show with you bastards.
You've got to kill him at the end somehow.
Yes. Sean, can you just fall off your chair? Cheers.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident about this.
Falling off my chair, you bastard.
I'm confident about this game. I don't know why. I think they've been found out slightly, and they're overlapping centre backs. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to see our green and blue kit for the first time.
Yes, I'm wearing this in preparation,
Right.
and I'm only kind of half going. I'm only half disappearing on I should say to people listening on the podcast. For these visual references, I'm just getting into the swing of things. I was on it. Just a bit brief background that you don't really need to know. I had a radio show 7 years ago, so I was used to public speaking. And I'm very fucking rusty. You might have noticed that from last week. So for people listening, I've got a green screen behind me and I'm wearing the old green and navy kit because apparently, I have to wait another 28 days or whatever for the new kit to be delivered.
I've got mine. Got mine.
I'm only kind of half disappearing here.
Have you got Yaboa on the back?
Yaboa, yeah.
Yaboa.
My
Fucking
word.
hell.
That won't be cheap either. And there's somebody's processed that order. If you've not seen it, there's somebody on Leeds Facebook, which always delivers. Somebody's ordered 2 shirts, one of them with 21 Yaboa spelled Yaboah. And you can't return personal stuff. And no, somebody at the Leeds shop is going to spell it wrong, but I'm still going to print it.
Yeah, what a dick.
Yeah, there is concern about the colours that, and Howard Wilkinson said this before, that it kind of goes into the crowd on a night game. So luckily, this is a 12 o'clock kickoff, is it? 12:30.
Yeah,
so it should be okay.
How dark is it? Like in reality, you've got one, Alex. Is it really dark or?
It's a little bit more muted than the 96 kit. Oh, 95, 95.
93.
90 something.
90 kit.
Yeah. So it's a little bit muted. It looks nicer in real life, but I'm red green colourblind, so I might be talking absolute shit right now. It looks good to me. And
Wait a minute. You're colourblind?
Yeah.
You can't see red or green?
I can see them, but they just look weird to me. So if you put red and green together, my eyes dance about like pixies.
Oh, nice.
So
that's why you can't watch Scum then.
Yeah.
I know.
That's why I hate them, because it's red kit, green,
green pitch.
Yeah. That's my excuse at traffic lights anyway. Sorry.
It was all amber to me, officer.
Yeah. That's why all the photos I edit are in black and white, because if I do it in colour, they just look weird as fuck to everybody else.
So what we need then is our third kit to be high vis.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, just dress like bin men. Be fantastic.
Yeah. Fucking bin man vests.
Not the red that it's reported to be. It's going to mess you up even more.
Oh, please, burgundy.
Yeah, sorry.
Like it was like it was platinum, not grey. Come on.
There was one game talked about the colourblind stuff. There was one game last season, I think it was QPR, and they were like in a mint green kit against our white, and I might as well have just gone on. Might as well have gone on, because I had no chance.
I think obviously colours fine, but they look exactly the same to me.
Yeah, that's it. It got to the point where we scored, and I was like, "Oh, was that an own?" Oh no, it wasn't. It was Jack Harrison. Oh, great. It was like watching a football game, not knowing what's going on. So yeah, pretty much most season for me.
So yeah, I try and stay away from predictions, but I do have a bit of an apprehensive feeling about Sheffield United. But I'm thinking it's probably an emotional thing, because I remember the last time we played them, we lost 1-0, and And I knew that going into that game, if we won, that was us virtually up. You know?
Yeah. Chris Basham is still there as well, unfortunately.
Prick.
Played every game this season for them.
Yeah,
We're going to win.
It is a bit like that. They are like what you'd call a bogey team, I think. And
Yeah.
I am a little bit worried. I mean, we've shown in the first 1.5 league games that we can definitely do it. We can definitely score. So, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I think
You're going to notice from my predictions, I'm going to predict 38 wins this season.
Okay, any more?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of salt from some Aston Villa fans.
Right, so this is the more salt please segment.
Yeah. This is. Should I give the name? No, I won't give the name just in case.
just keep it private, so compiling.
So they were responding to a TalkSport tweet about Bielsa and what a genius he is. So they say, what Bielsa did to Leeds, turning him mid-table to Premier League in 2 seasons, Dean Smith did in half the time at Villa, including a record-breaking 10-game win streak, a cup final the following season, and Premier League survival. But the tiny club Leeds loving continues.
Tiny club. Wow. Dean Smith replaced all of his team when they went up.
Exactly. And almost got relegated.
Yeah, so... And the only reason they didn't get relegated is because VAR wasn't turned on. Oh no, the goal line technology wasn't turned on.
Yeah, they would be in the Championship right now.
What Bielsa did at Leeds is nothing compared to what Dean Smith did at Villa.
Just imagine thinking that those two are in the same stratosphere. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've also got some Facebook nonsense as well. If you want some more Facebook nonsense.
These are my favourite.
This is from the Leeds United's Barmy Army group, Premier League in closed captions, just in case you weren't sure what league we're in. £13 million for a player that's given away 2 penalties in 2 games. Rubbish. Just as bad as Belushi. That's who he's reminding me of. That guy is not happy.
Waiting for the Roaring Peacock spreadsheet coming out and for him to be nicknamed the Warrior and then make a clearance into the air and we'll lose.
Got some overhead kicks in his own box.
Get booed at a pre-season friendly.
There's no nuance with Leeds fans on Facebook. It's black or white. It's either the fantastic or the worst, or Chilinio with an I. That's his fault. Or Marcelo Bielsa. Or Bielsa. It's normally Bielsa.
Yeah. So he's actually spelled Belushi right, so he's obviously a big fan.
Yeah, he's Googled it.
Yeah.
So.
I better get this right or they'll pile on me for that.
Yeah, exactly. He did soundly get talked down by pretty much every person that commented, and there's about 100 comments, so fair play to those people.
Or it could just be a double cross and it's actually a troll. That'd be brilliant, that. Yeah. I might sign myself a Facebook account and just go on there. It's like, I think Felix Friedwald is a lot better than this French bloke. Let's get him back. Biscuit wrists were quite good.
Yeah. From Facebook user LUFC Colin.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Bailey Peacock Farrell? He were really good.
Yeah. There's clubs in his name. We should have kept him. He's a peacock. Why did we get
That's the best reason.
Yeah.
It's the best reason yet.
It's named after a pub over at Road. You know, you can't get rid of a place like that. It could be Lyle. You can't have these French meliers coming over here stealing our goalkeepers.
No loyalty these days.
Yeah. Brexit means Brexit.
No passion. No passion for the country and the local lads, not giving them a chance.
Yeah.
Taking the French guys.
Northern Ireland's Bailey Peacock Farrell.
Yeah.
Stealing our job.
Talking about passion, I don't think I've seen any expression on Bailey Peacock Farrell's face other than meh.
Yeah. Oh, that went in. Oh, should die for that. Oh.
Guess I've got to pick you out of the net again then.
Yeah. I was Pontus just absolutely boring him out and just stood there just staring at him, like dead-eyed. What were we talking about?
Yeah, it reminded me of sort of badly shaped piece of cream. Yeah. His face.
We're going to need some more on that.
Yeah, that's the next podcast image. When we play Burnley, that's the podcast image.
Wobbling a little bit.
And this is the time where the podcast has kind of fizzled out. We're talking about Bailey Peacock cream face.
End this, Adonis. Bring this to the end.
Yeah, Ross is always the voice of reason. Like, yeah, it's probably time we bring this.
So, in a week where the government has banned public gatherings and football matches, we've decided to take up grouse hunting at half-time on the Elland Road pitch to ensure that fans can get to do what we love to do, which is be at games. And the only way to do that, of course, is by finding that Tory loophole and exploiting it for all it's worth. The documentary dropped and it was emotional. Ross McCormack joined Aldershot and that was emotional for them. Leeds destroyed Fulham and that was emotional for
Scott Parker.
Fulham. And Bielsa's little mutant son made a big cock up.
It was a tiny cock up, wasn't it?
Kevin!
Sorry, a tiny cock up. Jordan Stevens was sent off to end his career at Swindon Town. No, but seriously, best wishes to Jordan Stevens. Yeah. I'm sure that move is going to be great for him. And Victor Orta's European pillage continued with the acquisition or hopeful acquisition of Diego Llorente. On a somber note, we wish the family of Ellis all of our best, and our thoughts are with you after losing a very courageous little Leeds United fan. He's got more courage than most of us, I think.
Yeah, it's fought that better than I could.
Okay, and it's a goodbye from Ross.
Bye-bye.
And it's a goodbye from Alex.
Very goodbye from me.
And it's a very goodbye from him. And you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and in your podcast player if you want. Or if you don't, that's okay. That's fine with us too. We don't mind.
You can follow us in real life as well, but there is certain acts that we can do to stop you doing that.
Yeah, so only if I dress as a grouse and you've got a gun.
Yeah, that's it.
You can follow me around if you want, but it's pretty boring, to be honest. Go to the shop.
Just stand over your shoulder while you're podcasting.
Oh, I found right, Badger. Oh, what's he doing? Oh, he's staying in his fucking house. Pretty much.
Just picking his nose right now. I can see him. He's got a big one.
He's eating it. Oh, my word.
That's disgusting.
I'm gonna go find Ross.
Oh, Alex. Thank you and goodbye.
Hey.
Most of our stats come from LUFC Stats or LUFC Data on Twitter. You should probably give them a follow as they're more interesting than us. A very special thanks to Adam Elliott, Adam Warner, Barney Stewart, Cookie, Ed McIntyre, Ewan and Howard Metcalf, Josh Pearson, Laura, Leon, Nige and Rob, The Light Show and all our family and friends.
So many games to play, don't care what's on your mind.